A reminder that you're listening to the Voice of Russia in London. Valentin Olovyannikov is the only Russian dancer in the Birmingham Royal Ballet, one of the UK's oldest ballet companies. He's in London this week to dance in the popular ballet Coppelia at the Coliseum. We invited him into the studio where Alice Lanyardo began by asking how the first night went.
It went very well, thank you. Yes, I very much enjoyed it. I love being in London.
When did you come over to the UK?
In 2000. August 2000.
So how did that happen? I understand you're from the city of Saratov in Russia. How did you get from Saratov to London?
It's been a great journey for me. For example, I started doing ballet at the age of 10 and yes, loved it from the beginning. You know, the exercise, the cultural, aspects. It was just a fantastic journey,
How did you start? Did you start because you wanted to or because you had a sister or a friend who did it?
No, nobody. My father actually from St. Petersburg and him and my mom used to go to the ballet and they enjoyed it. It's a great art. And
so they brought you to the ballet? And
Yes, it was just introduced me and they said, if you're going to like it, just carry on. And yeah, absolutely loved it.
So there was a ballet theatre in Saratov?
Yes, we have a ballet school in Saratov and it's a good school. Fantastic teachers. I owe them so much.
What did you like about it as a 10-year-old when you first started?
It's exercise. Exercise, just because, you have so much energy at age of 10 and it's incredible, and you need to put yourself, your soul and all physical aspects into it, and you come home, you're completely exhausted. And
that's a good feeling.
Yes, just because, at the end of the day, you feel like you have achieved something, you've done something and, that's great.
How did you then move on to dance more seriously? Did you go to local ballet classes? Were you spotted by the ballet school?
No, this was actually the proper ballet school. It's Saratovskое хореографическое училище. It's a school, ballet school, same as Bolshoi school.
Or Vaganovo in St.
Vaganovo, yes,
Petersburg.
exactly, yes. It's a very good school in my opinion, and yes, as I said, I had fantastic teachers, so I owe them so much from the beginning, just because the base training that I got in Russia, I owe it so much.
And so you came to Britain
Yes.
when you were still a teenager?
Yes, I was at the age of 16. Yeah, I think I was 16 or 17, and that was incredible.
You came to which ballet company?
I wasn't in a ballet company. I came for 2 years to study in English National Ballet School. Yes, I was still a student there for 2 years, and director in English National Ballet School was Catherine Wade, and she was very, very supportive. She was an incredible director. She knew what to say, she knew how to help, and she knew how to motivate.
Was it difficult moving to a new country so young?
Yes. I mean, for the first 6 months, I was missing home. I wanted to go back immediately. My parents, my brother was constantly telling me, keep going, and I did, obviously. And
so where were you staying? Where were you living?
I stayed in accommodation that was provided by the school, just because after I did Prix de Lausanne, I got offered a Nureyev scholarship. Yes, I stayed in South Kensington, this accommodation for students.
Like a hostel?
Yes. I stayed there for 2 years. Yeah, I got offered a job at Birmingham Royal Ballet. And
did you know where Birmingham was?
No, of course, yes. Yes, I knew a few places, in Britain. Birmingham was one of them. No, of course. I heard about Birmingham Royal Ballet a long time before. I mean, it's a great company. It's one of the best companies in the world.
What did you find most difficult about settling into the UK, apart from missing your family?
Obviously, the language barrier. I did not speak any English at all before I came here, so...
How did you manage in ballet class?
I mean, the ballet terms are all the same, battement tendu and fondu, plié, it's...
Did you find the West exciting after living in Saratov?
As I said, I have always lived in Russia, so for me that was different, very, very different experience. And being a young lad, from not such a big city, it was just, scary. At the beginning it was scary just for the fact that I couldn't speak any English. So, I mean, I didn't want to come up to people as rude, and I wanted to represent myself the best way. I had to learn fast.
So then you moved to Birmingham. Did you find the accent tricky to understand at first?
At the very beginning, yes, most definitely, yes. It was tricky and funny. Yeah, it's a funny accent.
But you've settled in well, and I understand you've got married, you
Yes.
settled down.
Yes, yes. My wife, I met her in school, in English National Ballet School, and we went from English National Ballet, to Birmingham. She finished university, Birmingham University, and we got married 2 years ago.
So you've really integrated into English life. If you've married an English woman and you've settled in, do you feel a bit English?
Yes, for me, for example, you say, do you miss Russia? Of course I do miss Russia, but if I go back right now, I would miss Britain as well.
What do you miss about Russia?
What do I miss about Russia? People, food, culture. I miss Russia as a country, as a whole.
Do you go back much?
I went back last July, and that was my first time actually in Kremlin.
In the Kremlin?
Kremlin, sorry, Kremlin, yes, Kremlin. Red Square and stuff. It was fantastic. Yeah, me and my brother, just explored it a bit more, and it was just great to be back, for a bit. And
going back to your ballet training,
Yes.
you said you had a great base, a great background of training in Russia, in the Saratov Ballet School. How did you find it when you came to the English National Ballet School, the difference in the approach of teachers?
I had a French and an English teacher. Anthony Dowson and Jean-Pascal Cabados, and Catherine Wade gave lessons, classical lessons sometimes as well. And to be honest, I can't tell you the difference between Russian school and the British school or the French school. I can tell you what unites us, just because, as I said, I had a foundation in Russia up to the age of 16, and I came to Britain, and this is where I actually, danced.
The Russian school has a reputation of being stricter with children.
Yes, I guess so, yes. But when I came here, all that Russian training had to be kind of molded. Anthony Dowson did a good job with that, by making me to adapt to a British style of dancing. And
what did you have to change?
certain positions of the arms, certain positions of the feet, it's just more kind of feet work, it's not really change, it's basically adapting. As I said, I can't tell you what kind of separates the, Russian training and the British training. I can tell you what unites us, it's both schools love ballet, we love this art, and we both schools put so much effort and very, very hard work, into this. So at the end of the day, it's makes us love this art even more.
So the English students are as disciplined as the Russians?
Yes, I mean, everybody worked so hard. It's everybody, everywhere we have, healthy competition, and, everybody wants to deliver, the best they can. And
is that ever tough as a young person, as a teenager, when you're growing up, that you don't have time to live like other teenagers do?
I don't know. My outside life, for example, in Russia, at the end of the day, when I come home, maybe like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening, I still went out with my friends, to play basketball, to play football and stuff like that, to get myself even more exhausted, I still socialize with people, outside the ballet school, inside the ballet school,
What do you do to relax in your current job?
In my current job, spending time with my wife. We have a baby boy as well on the way, so 8 weeks to go. I'm going to be a daddy.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much. So right now I'm just trying to enjoy my time with my wife, make her, enjoy this time, enjoy this 9 months, before the baby comes. I want to spend, as much time with her as I can. And before the baby time, before sleepless nights and all that,
Yes.
I can't wait.
Lots to look forward to. Now, you're dancing the role of Dr. Coppelius
Yes.
on Sunday,
Yes.
and you've danced it before.
Yes.
I wondered, what are your dream roles? What are the things you'd really like to work up to in future?
I love dancing. Any part that have been given or any part that will be given, I will give my 100%.
But have you got any particular ballets or choreographers that you're fond of that you'd love to get your teeth into?
I love ballet. I can't. If I say one single name, it's just out of 100 names I want to say at the same time. whatever work I'm given.
Have you seen anything lately that you enjoyed in terms of ballet or dance? Any performances, or don't you really have time?
I do. I mean, one of the latest things that I have seen was actually Kirov in south of France. I saw them do Swan Lake. They were amazing. Especially quarter ballet girls, they dance in unison, it's fantastic. I mean, very, very good.
And when you were growing up, who were your heroes in ballet?
Nureyev, Margot Fontaine, Mikhail Baryshnikov.
Do you think we have any heroes of that stature today?
Well, plenty. Carlos Acosta, Tetsuya Kumakawa, everybody. So many great dancers out there. And every time, you watch a video of one of them and you just want to practice, you want to reach that goal, to be as good as they are, Hopefully sometimes you get close.
Valentin Olovyannikov talking to Alice Lanyardo there. You've been listening to The Voice of Russia in London. Head to our website english.ruvr.ru or email the news team at uk@ruvr.ru. Stay tuned for the rest of the programme, but from now, from me, Daniel Sinner, and the rest of the team here in London, goodbye. How the first night went?
I went very well, thank you. Yes, I very much enjoyed it. I love being in London.
When did you come over to the UK?
In 2000. August 2000.
So how did that happen? I understand you're from the city of Saratov in Russia. How did you get from Saratov to London?
It's been a great journey for me. For example, I started doing ballet at the age of 10 and, loved it from the beginning. The exercise, the cultural, aspects. It was just a fantastic journey,
How did you start? Did you start because you wanted to or because you had a sister or a friend who did it?
No, nobody. My father actually from St. Petersburg, and him and my mom used to go to the ballet and they enjoyed it. It's a great art. And
so they brought you to...
A reminder that you're listening to The Voice of Russia in London. Valentin Olovyannikov is the only Russian dancer in the Birmingham Royal Ballet, one of the UK's oldest ballet companies. He's in London this week to dance in the popular ballet Coppelia at the Coliseum. We invited him into the studio where Alice Lanyardo began by asking...
Just because, you have so much energy at age of 10 and it's incredible, and you need to put yourself, your soul and all physical aspects into it, and you come home, you're completely exhausted. And
that's a good feeling.
Yes, just because, at the end of the day, you feel like you have achieved something, you've done something, and, that's great.
How did you then move the ballet? And
Yes, it was just introduced me and they said, if you're going to like it, just carry on, and absolutely loved it.
So there was a ballet theatre in Saratov?
Yes, we have a ballet school in Saratov, and it's a good school. Fantastic teachers. I owe them so much.
What did you like about it as a 10-year-old when you first started?
It's exercise. Exercise,